Is ex-general manager of our convention center and is the new project manager for the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. And he's going to educate me as well as you, because I just know the big picture and I don't know what the skinny is. And he's going to educate us.
All right.
So anyway, Pierre, you have till 5:15, work some questions in on your, any
All
way
right.
you like, and please take over.
Super. All right. Well, I really appreciate you having me here. My name is Pierre Landaiche. I'm originally from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I went to LSU in the 1980s. I finished in speech communication, and not really knowing what I wanted to do when I graduated, but I took, before they called it a gap year, I took a gap year right after school and waited tables, backpacked through Europe for a few months, came back and didn't really know what I was going to do, but I fell into a job at the Convention and Visitors Bureau in sales there in Baton Rouge. Chris used to be part of the CVB. I was part of the CVB for about 4.5 years before I was invited to Jacksonville, Florida I worked in sales at the CVB. I went to Jacksonville, Florida because I was invited to work on the convention center there. And I said, well, I've never run a convention center before. And he says, well, that's okay. You need to, if you can sell it, we'll teach you how to run it. So in the 90s, I went to Jacksonville, lived there 3 years, and then moved to Memphis in 1996 to manage the Memphis Cook Convention Center. Anybody familiar with that building? Anybody been there lately? Graduations, concert, what?
I was a tour.
Say again?
It was a tour. We went on a tour last.
Oh, a tour. Okay, all right. Was I there?
No.
Okay. Anybody been to the Cannon Center? Or familiar with the Cannon Center? Yeah, it's a beautiful theater there. But no, as Chris said, I used to be the general manager for the Memphis Cook Convention Center. Was there for 22 years. Went through one expansion project, and that was enough for me. We're about to undergo another renovation project, which I will show you. So I decided to take on a role where we are going to create, develop, manage, open, start from scratch the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame, which ought to be pretty cool. When you go across the railroad tracks to the athletic department, there's an M Club Hall of Fame. That's pretty neat. If you haven't been to the M Club Hall of Fame, I suggest you check it out. It's pretty cool. But let me tell you a little bit about the convention center side of the business. How many of you are hospitality, majoring in hospitality management? Just about everybody. How many got into it with the thought of maybe working in a hotel one day? Or a restaurant? Anybody ever thought about working at a convention center? Well, that's another opportunity for you. Anybody ever thought about getting into, who's more sort of salesy kind of, who's more sort of event managey kind of, or operations? You know, in the hospitality industry, you can have any background and use it in the hospitality industry. Engineering, finance, accounting, sales, marketing, event management, you name it. You can find a spot in the hospitality industry. Same thing with the convention center industry. Think about that when you're considering looking for a job. We've got salespeople at the convention center. We have finance people at the convention center. We have engineers that work in the operations department. We've got event managers that work in the convention center. So the list is wide open for you in our business. There's really 4 things you need to be a successful convention city, okay? You need good hotels, good, clean, large enough, in the right spot, hotels that are well managed, well serviced, well appointed, up to date. You certainly need an accessible city, which is your airport. Got to have enough direct flights. It has to have enough airlines. Also, relative to transportation, it helps to be on major highways. We are right at the intersection of I-55 and I-40. So far we've got hotels, good hotels. We've got a good lift and transportation into the city. We need good attractions. It's got to be an interesting city. Who would you say would be more interesting, Memphis or Topeka, Kansas?
Memphis.
What would you rather visit, Memphis or Dayton, Ohio? What would you rather visit, Memphis or Nashville? Memphis, by far, by far. Memphis has a lot to see, has a lot to do. It's an original city. It's got great history. It's got soul. It's authentic. It's got great food. It's got great music. But it's most of all, it has great people, and that's why people like to come to this city. So, hotels, attractions. It's got to be easy to get into and out of. But the fourth piece to be a good convention hotel, a good group business city rather, is good facilities at your convention center. My friends in Indianapolis tell me all the time, that they're so busy because they basically have a really good convention center, great hotels, and great restaurants. Besides the Raceway, no offense to Indianapolis. Anybody from Indianapolis here? All right. No offense to Indianapolis, but I don't really know what Indianapolis is known for except for the Indy 500 and the Colts. But it's a good business. It's a good city to do business in for a group because they've got a great convention center and good hotels.
I really think, Pierre, what they offer instead of a personality is that they offer a nice footprint of facilities located in close proximity,
Right.
so that you can just kind of walk here and there.
Very convenient. You're right. That's very important for an attractive convention city. It's a very important for an attractive leisure destination as well. And everybody knows what the difference between leisure and corporate and group destination is. Some cities are strong in every one of those categories. Some are strong in just one or two, but it still makes them successful. The Memphis Cook Convention Center was built in 1974, the original convention center. And in 2003, we added the Cannon Center. We added another ballroom. We added several meeting rooms. And the impact that had on our business, we tripled the number of national conventions we could bring to Memphis. We doubled our revenue, and it was a huge success for the convention center and the Cannon Center. The Cannon Center is one of the most attractive, best sounding theaters in the country. It's 2,100 seats. It's the home of the symphony. We do several concerts there, ballet, opera, stage plays. We also do general meetings there. We do plenary sessions, breakout meetings and whatnot. There's 4 things we kind of do at the convention center. Conventions, all right, which is that group that brings the most hotel rooms to the city, the most hotel stays to the city. Trade shows also bring a large amount of hotel stays to the city. We do banquets, local banquets, and local meetings and consumer shows. It's really 5 things. A consumer show is like a boat show or an auto show, something the local consumers would come to the convention center for. But consumer shows, banquets, local corporate meetings, conventions, trade shows, and we'll throw in the occasional sporting event. We did USA Fencing, their junior national tournament recently. We do volleyball every year. It is a multi-purpose venue that not only serves as an economic development engine, which is why we exist, but also serves as a really good community resource to do some of those local events. So, what else? In order to grow, you have to get better. We decided in the 90s to expand the convention center, and that's what we did. We took down something called the old Ellis Auditorium. Anybody, that ring a bell to anybody? Ellis Auditorium. You might want to check it out on the internet. It's the Ellis Auditorium that was downtown Memphis, connected to the convention center, built in the 20s. A lot of great acts in its almost 70-year history. You ought to check it out, the Ellis Auditorium. Elvis played on that stage. Baryshnikov danced on that stage. But we took it down to make way for the Cannon Center and to improve the convention center, as I said earlier. Now, we have to remain competitive. So the city and the hotel community and the CVB, which is now called, bonus question, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the organization is now called what? Well,
Wait, give me a hint. The first
it's
first
two
name
words.
is Memphis.
First one is Memphis.
This
Second one?
tourism.
Memphis Tourism. They just, although they did, I think it's still, the legal name is Memphis Convention and Visitors Bureau, but they're doing business as Memphis Tourism. So if I talked about Memphis Tourism, I'm talking about the CVB, all right? So Memphis Tourism got together with the city, got together with the hotels, and came up with a funding package of $175 million to improve our convention center, okay? As I said, we have a 1974 building. It looks like a 1974 building. You can't compete against brand new facilities in Nashville and Austin and San Antonio with what we have now. We have a lot of business at the convention center, okay? Last year we might have had 60 or so dark days. A dark day is when nothing is going on at the convention center. If there's a move-in or a move-out or an event, that is not a dark day, okay? But we had 60, so on the average, we were busy 6.5 days a week. But with groups that were looking for an affordable building, groups that didn't mind some paint peeling, you know, in certain areas of the building, groups that didn't mind certain doors that were dinged and whatnot. But the intention of this project is to raise the standard and raise the bar of groups that we can bring to the city of Memphis. When that happens, our hotels can demand a higher price for their rooms. Likewise, our restaurants and our attractions, and that improves the economy here in the city of Memphis and Shelby County. So, I'm going to take you through quickly. Should we
Kill some lights?
kill some lights?
We can.
Is that better? Yeah. All right. So we're going to do a few things with the convention center. We're going to improve the functionality. We're going to improve the way it looks. And we're going to add breakout meeting rooms to the convention center. We currently have 32 breakout meeting rooms. We're going to go to almost 52 breakout rooms. This is, if you've seen the convention center lately, you see it is really just a concrete box with no windows. We're going to open it up so some natural light can come into the building, which is what meeting planners are looking for. So I will start. There's 4 different levels of the convention center. Our parking deck, which has an exhibit hall, the ground level, the main exhibit hall level, and then the offices. This is South Hall. It starts with this is the very lower level, sort of in the basement area where the garage is. That's currently the garage entrance to the convention center, not very inviting. We're going to change it, add more light, add more glass, make it look like a legitimate entrance to the convention center from the garage. When you're if you live here and you're going to the convention center for an event, you're going to park in the garage, okay? So this is your main entrance. If you don't live here and you're staying at a hotel, you're probably going to walk across Main Street, and there's another grand entrance on Main Street as well. So you see the improvements of the finishes with more glass and more lighting, better looking design. This is the current lobby. Wait 1 second. That's the current lobby for the South Hall. When I say the South Hall, this is an exhibit hall on the right, and you are facing Main Street, and behind you is the river. That's what it's going to look like. We're going to take this wall out and make it larger. We're reorienting elevators to go up to Main Street. Balconies overlooking the South Hall lobby from the grand lobby on the ground level. Better finishes. This looks more like Memphis, with the colors. Here you could be in Denham Springs, Louisiana, or Jacksonville, Florida. There's no real identity in this space. But part of what we're doing with the renovation is to really give it a Memphis feel. That's the South Hall itself. We're going to add 10 breakout rooms in South Hall. Again, better finishes, carpet, ceiling treatment. This is another view of South Hall, but you're looking towards the river, and Main Street is behind you. We're going to use this space and create an executive boardroom out of it. This is again inside South Hall. It's an exhibit hall basically. We can put cars in there, we can put tractors, but we needed the space for breakout meeting rooms, so that's what we're going to get. We'll put a series of air walls in this room to give us 10 breakout rooms, but you can see it's a much better finish that we'll be able to put a lot of different types of events in. Now we're going to go to the ground level. That's the current look of the East Concourse. This is what we're going to get. It's more modern, more natural light coming through the. Let's see. Those escalators I talked about coming up from South Hall, they're actually coming up here. You see there? The escalators on the right are existing. Better finishes, better, more wood, lighter colors. This is the ground level meeting rooms, the new ground level meeting rooms. That's what a meeting room looks like now at the convention center. This is what we're going to get. Higher ceilings, better functionality, more up-to-date, better technology, better finishes, better lighting. This is a boardroom, again on the ground level. Been downtown lately? Anybody? When you go down to the convention center, you can ride under it, right? When you go from Bass Pro to the south and south to, you can ride under Front Street. Some of you might recognize this. All right, you remember that? You're looking at the convention center with meeting rooms, okay? This is the other side. You're looking at that dark, dirty, dingy, columned space that we're not currently using, right? We're actually going to make those into 5 meeting rooms that are overlooking the river. And we can break those, we can break it into 1 meeting room, or we can divide it with air walls for 5 meeting rooms. That's a view of these rooms at the convention center. This is the pre-function area or the lobby for those meeting rooms. This is Front Street itself. Some of you may recognize it. It's going to get a better treatment as well. Have you seen these slides?
I saw them at Hotel Lodging, I
Right.
think, about 6
Okay.
months ago.
Pretty impressive. We're very excited about it. Those are those meeting rooms that are overlooking the river. When you go to level 2, this is our main hall that's existing. That's the existing pre-function area with the ballroom on the right, the main hall on the left. This space was built in 2003. That was the expansion. This space was built in 1974. You can tell the difference. One of the objectives of this new renovation is to make sure everything looks like it was built at the same time. We'll have display cases for Memphis items, but again, improved finishes, better carpet, better walls. That's looking at the river. This wall is going to be knocked out, and we're going to extend this concourse over Front Street and around the corner of the main hall. Main hall is again on your right. The existing main hall is on your right. More light coming into the space. This is opposite that area, actually on Main Street. An attractive boardroom right on Main Street. This is inside the main hall, okay? You're looking north towards Bass Pro. The river is on the left. And this is currently storage space. And this is currently the wall of the convention center. We're breaking that wall out. We're creating a pre-function area, and it's going to open into the north side, the west side of the main hall. Again, the river on the right. We'll have 2 massive doors on the west side of the main hall that will open up onto the pre-function, which will open up onto a balcony that's overlooking the river. This is a view east towards the Sheraton Hotel on Main Street. New finishes, new ceiling. And this is the balcony off of the main hall overlooking Bass Pro, the river, and the interstate, and the bridge. This is an outdoor terrace at the end of that concourse. Again, this is an opportunity. When you come to the convention center, you're not landlocked, or you're not closed in. When you come to the convention center or for a meeting, a trade show, a banquet, if you wanted to step out and get a call, you can come out and get some fresh air, have some privacy, or you can meet friends out there for small one-on-one meetings. It's a trend in convention center designs these days that you have these kinds of spaces, because the meeting planners and attendees, this is what they're asking for, and this is what they're looking for. That's the existing exterior that most of you are familiar with, and this is what we're going to get. You see the 2 balconies that allow people to come outside. There's that outdoor terrace there. Much better finishes. Looks like a modern building. This is again an outside view. That's the concourse that's extending from the current ballroom with the outdoor terrace, the 2 balconies, and this is that small lobby area for those 5 meeting rooms on Front Street. Another view. This is from Main Street. You'll see that executive board meeting room that I talked about. See the M from Memphis. We'll have a multimedia wall to show static and video images, and that is basically it. So, you know, what we're investing in is a much more modern building, a better looking building, a much more functional building, a much more attractive building to meeting planners, and not and to meeting planners it really represents some very high end and highly rated pieces of business. So again, we can drive that average daily rate in the hotels. That makes it better for everyone, makes the hotel more profitable, gives them a better opportunity to pay their employees more money, and so on and so forth. So,
Pierre, mention the new hotel opportunity and how that's going to support the foundation.
Well, like I said, you know, every great group destination has really good hotels. We are a convention center that can support 2 600 to 800 room hotels. Okay, we only have one 600 room hotel connected to the convention center, and that's the Sheraton. The AutoZone national sales meeting was in the convention center 2 weeks ago. They brought 2,000 people. We had to put them in 10 different hotels. Okay. AutoZone is a local company. They're very loyal to Memphis, so they keep coming back. But it's very difficult for us to compete with other cities, take Las Vegas or Orlando or New Orleans, when they can put a group like AutoZone in one hotel or 2 tops. It's a lot more convenient for them. When we announced the renovation of the convention center, the Lowe's Hotel Corporation came to Memphis and said they want to build a 550 room property directly across from Main Street. I'll tell you where it is. Directly across from City Hall. This is that boardroom with the M on it, right? This is Main Street. If you look back this way, that's 100 North Main Building. It's in the news a lot lately. That Lowe's Hotel is going to be in between this building and that building. So it'll be a short walking distance to the convention center. 55,000 square feet they'll build as part of their hotel. But it is a full service 550 room hotel that will significantly increase our ability to go after larger, again, more highly rated business. So,
Questions?
yes.
When are the renovations going to start?
We started a couple of days ago in our grand lobby on asbestos abatement. But this is a public project, so for the rest of the project, we have to send it out to bid. We did that, and we'll get bids back on November 1st. Hopefully the bids will come in under budget or at budget. If they do, we'll get started in November. We'll do the ground level first from November through next October. We'll start that South Hall level in the spring, finish it in October. And then next October, we'll start on this level, the main hall level and the ballroom level, and it will be finished in August of 2020. So there's 3 different phases, November to next summer, the spring to next summer, and the next fall to summer of 2020. Great question.
Now, you're heading up the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about the Memphis Express, the new team coming to Memphis?
Only that they're playing at the Liberty Bowl, which I managed for 3 years during my tenure here. Singletary's the coach. Zach Mettenberger is the quarterback. And we're hoping they start in the spring or February maybe. We're hoping that they draw. We're hoping that the Memphis fans come out and really support them. It should be a pretty cool league. Anyone heard of 901 FC? 901 FC. It's the new Memphis United Soccer League. Is it USL? It's USL, but we have a new soccer team in Memphis that's playing at Redbird at AutoZone Ballpark. And I don't know if you've ever been to a soccer match before, but these soccer matches are going to be a ton of fun. It's almost like a college football game. The fans are crazy. They really get behind their teams. It's a lot of fun. The action never stops. So you're going to want to check out the 901 FC, 901 Football Club. That's the name of our team. And come out and support them at the Redbirds ballpark, the AutoZone ballpark. The Express they're gonna play at Liberty Bowl, 901 FC at the AutoZone ballpark, and the new Sports Hall of Fame will be at the AutoZone ballpark, and it'll be a free attraction when you're at a game. And we're gonna try to keep it open during the rest of the year as well.
I can add 2 things. The soccer team is playing at AutoZone Park. I heard the other day that they've somehow, and I'm not the expert, but somehow they've arranged the field, the parameters of the field to fit inside that baseball diamond, and supposedly the seating is terrific.
One goal is going to be on the third baseline, and the other goal is going to be, right field. So.
And I guess if you're in attendance at one of the matches, you are right in the action.
It's going to be great.
Yeah,
It's going to be awesome.
very, very, very big hype so far. The other thing I want to add before you folks ask some more questions, and these folks have some questions for you. You heard Pierre mention earlier about being competitive. We, the city of Memphis, needs to be competitive with all of our buddies in cities around the Mid-South. We compete for all kinds of business, all kinds of tourism and hospitality business with St. Louis and Louisville and Nashville,
Charlotte,
and
Little Rock, Dallas.
we all know, and we Memphis, we need to be players in every market segment, including the convention business, the meetings business. We know that we're great in the leisure business. We have you heard Pierre mention amenities. We have a great amenity package. We have great food. We have good hotels.
we're gangbusters when it comes to leisure, weekend, vacation, bring the family, hang out for 3 or 4 nights. We know we got a lock on that business. Where we need some help, and this is the reason we're going through this presentation today, and Pierre has been doing what he's been doing, is that we have a challenge in the meetings business. And that typically is corporate related, means, as we talked about, means a little higher rate in the hotel rooms area. It's typically midweek, so that the hotels can fill up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then maybe the groups come in a little early and spend the weekend before, or maybe they stay a little late and bring the family in and stay a little late and keep the same hotel room. They gotta eat in a restaurant, they gotta have a couple of drinks, they bring the family, they gotta go to the Pink Palace, and they gotta go to Beale Street. And believe me, it's all catch-22. It's all good. And that's the idea behind the whole thing. And so when you see these things in the newspaper, however you get your news about this new Lowe's hotel and the renovations at the convention center and this thing and that thing, it's all good. And it's all intended to be going in the right direction.
There's a lot of great smaller hotels coming in downtown as well that's going to support what we do. Hotel Indigo, that's a Hilton Garden Inn.
Just sent an email to them today.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
Do you know anything about what's happening with 100 North Main?
Well, that's part of the same group that's developing the Lowe's project. Bought 100 North Main. So, there's, they were talking about maybe taking that building, creating a hotel out of it with mixed use with condos, apartments, retail. But it looks now that they're going to build a brand new tower across the street in that open area, across the street from City Hall. And they may end up taking down that building and just starting it over with new office, new retail, new residential. Anything else?
Other questions? I know you folks have some questions, because I'm gonna collect them here in a few minutes.
What are your responsibilities when you're managing the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame? And what's going to be your...
Well, we're starting from scratch, so we're doing everything. We've got to, I'm sort of in a research phase right now, so I am visiting and talking to other sports halls of fame about their exhibits, how they designed them, how they built them. I'm talking to them about their inductees, how they found them, how they selected them, and I'm also talking to these groups about events and missions around their halls of fame. A lot of these halls of fame support youth activities in their cities. A lot of these halls every one of them does an induction banquet. So, I'm learning about that, how best to go about that. But, and they all do other events like, golf fundraisers and whatnot. But my main responsibility is to conceive it, fund it, and open it and fill it. So
Is that all?
that's it.
What are you gonna do next week?
Yeah, right. We're trying to do this by April too, so it's kind of crazy. But anybody know Larry Finch? He's probably a slam dunk for the first class, so, along with a few others. And yeah, it's Sports Hall of Fame. What else?
With this new sports hall of fame, are y'all gonna have any millennials working with y'all, or?
Until I came on board, there was no one working on it full time. But there's probably an opportunity and a need for some interns to help us If not now, in the later stages of the project. So if anybody's interested in working with me on it, let me know. You've got my information. I've got my old card.
5317, I know where to find it.
Yeah, this is an old card, so.
And we have a faculty member who specializes in internships, and we have a career counselor here too.
All right.
So we can make all that
Yeah,
happen.
reach out to that person and we'll develop some job descriptions and responsibilities if you're interested in the Hall of Fame.
Other questions?
The more the merrier.
Concerns? Anything about downtown action? Trolley line? All the things that matter to that convention center?
Trolleys are open. They're running.
What would you say is Memphis' biggest attraction?
Its history and its music. Obviously the biggest single attraction is the Beale Street and Graceland, but you guys know as well as I do, when you start digging, there's some really cool spots in Memphis to discover and explore. The Green Line is one of them, Harahan Bridge another, Tom Lee Park. There's some great areas in the city. But yeah, the history and the music is our biggest draw. Great question.
We actually have an amenity package, and we hear this all the time from our salespeople, whether they're at Memphis Tourism or they're at the convention center. And we always hear that Memphis has a better attractions package than Nashville.
Or Atlanta.
The challenge is that they have meeting facilities, convention centers that can hold more people and have higher ceilings and have better entrances for big shows and more hotel rooms and that kind of thing. So even though they'd rather come here, we just don't have the facility that they can use. So with Pierre's ex renovation plans, we hope to be a lot more competitive in that area, which of course means good jobs, more jobs,
Yep.
better paying jobs, lots of opportunities coming up.
So,
What else we got? One more.
What were the main differences between working at the Jacksonville location and here at the convention center?
well, that's a great question. Jacksonville was an attractive city to people who wanted to visit it because it was near the water. It was in Florida. The main difference between Jacksonville and Memphis, the building was smaller, and it was disconnected from the hotel, the core of the hotel offering in downtown. So it was very difficult for us to convince a meeting planner to come to Jacksonville, stay in a hotel that was 8 blocks from the convention center. There was a monorail that took them from the hotels to the convention center, but it wasn't very effective. That's what I would say. I mean, it just wasn't a convenient package, not as convenient as ours is here. We didn't have birds back then to zip us between the hotels and the convention center. I ride them all the time downtown. It's a lot of fun.
Do you?
I do. It's just like this.
You and Doug Brown.
Yeah. Great question. Anybody else?
Well, let's hear for Pierre.
Thank you so much.
I'll take your homework. I've got an attendance sheet here. If you